Hello, it's Samuel Pearce-Davies again, and we're continuing with our exploration of various patches in Max MSP that might help us achieve the goal of an artificial intelligence musical composer. Now, if we're thinking about developing an entire piece from scratch, you can think about melody or the different instrumentations or harmony and chord sequences, all of that, and that's absolutely fine. But at the same time, we have to work out how the piece is going to be structured. Now, you can choose that it is not structured at all. It can just develop almost randomly, and that could be very interesting. But for the purposes of these patches, I've decided to go with quite a traditional structure in terms of introduction, verse, chorus, bridge, outro, etc. So we have this timing control patch that's set up to develop, generate, and control all of that. So if we have a look at this, you can see I've inadvertently chosen a colour scheme that basically represents the Windows logo for some reason. But in this section here, you can sort of see we've got all of the different traditional sections of a piece defined here, and the little numbers underneath here will be the length of each individual section in terms of bars. Now you can see some of them remain static, remain one length throughout the entire piece. Others can be one of several lengths, and again this can be expanded upon later, but for now keeping it fairly simple. And then if we think of each section being represented by a number, so for example intro A being represented by 1, intro B 2, verse A 3, etc, etc. Going over to this section down here, once the length of each section has been defined and sent out to here, that will be stored, that value, and then over here this series of list-based objects will choose from a few potential patterns and link the sections together in a way that some of them may repeat and some of them may not. So you'll get verse, chorus, or you might get intro, intro, verse, chorus, bridge. Any combination of that. There's quite a lot of variance in there, even if it's not immediately clear how it works from this lovely spaghetti load of wires here. But essentially this will output a big list of 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, etc. over to here, which will then, through the previously defined lengths of each of the sections, go into this patch here. Now, these will define a load of time points because we're using a transport in Max which will keep a current beat. It will keep a tempo once you set it going, and when the transport reaches a particular time point, these will activate and send out their stored number to designate, right, we're moving on to this section now. And then that will be sent out of the main patch to theoretically control the rest of the instruments to say, right, we're in the verse now, so this instrument needs to be playing this, these instruments need to be doing this behind it, we're currently in this key signature, this time signature rather, things like that. And that will all be sent out of here, and while this isn't in a state where it can actually control anything yet, because the sections themselves haven't been defined outside of this, we can see it in action. So this bang here will generate an entire structure based on our tempo, time signature, and within these parameters of a maximum and minimum length. So if we get it started, you can see here this will be flashing to say that we are currently in the intro, and in a few moments, depending on how long the intro is and how many times it's repeated, we will transition into the verse. There we go, so we had 16 bars of intro. So I would imagine it was either 4 or 8 bars long and then repeated 2 or 4 times. So it works fairly simply like that, and it will send out a number every time a new section is entered, sending it out of here. So that's how that works, and currently, because trying to work out time signatures other than 4/4 is a bit of a pain in the neck, because then you have to actually come up with a general definition for downbeat and upbeat, and that's a real pain. So for now I am just sticking with 4/4, because you can just plan around that for now, and as with everything, in the future, once it's stable, it can be expanded, it can be made better. But for now, this is how it is, and we're currently in the chorus, so this works, and this will be somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes in length, but for now I think we'll leave it there.